Hi kids, my name is Tom. I'm the dad to 2 little girls. I make sure that I teach them the importance of saying thank you. So today I'm going to read you a book called Curious George Says Thank You. This is George. He is a good little monkey and always very curious. Today George received a letter in the mail. "It looks like you got a card, George," said the man in the yellow hat. It was a thank you card from his neighbor Betsy. The card made George smile. It also made him curious. Who could I give a thank you card to? George thought and thought. He could send one to the Science Museum director, Dr. Lee, who had always shown George her favorite collection of dinosaur bones. Of course, there was also the librarian who helped George pick out books. The store clerk at the market who saved the best bananas for him, and his friend Bill who let him fly his kite in the park. George had so many people to thank, he had to get started right away. First he gathered paper, envelopes, crayons, and stickers. Then he got to work. The man in the yellow hat walked in to find George covered from head to toe. "Uh-oh, George! What are you doing?" George held up Betsy's card and pointed to the papers scattered around him. "Oh, I see, George," what his friend. "You're making your own thank you cards. What a nice idea. Would you like some help?" The man wrote while George decorated. George was having so much fun that they even made a stock of extra cards. "We can hand deliver these tomorrow. Everyone will be happy to see you, George." Their first stop was the Science Museum. "George, it is good to see you," said Dr. Lee. "What a lovely card. I'm going to hang it in my office right now." Next stop was the library. "What a great card," the librarian said. "I'm going to sit it here on my desk where everyone can see it." "George, we have some new books in the science section that you might like if you have time." George looked at his friend. "All right," the man said. "I will go get a book myself." George noticed the mail carrier leaving the library. She was the one who had brought the card to George in the first place. He wanted to give her one of his cards too. George hurried out the door. Could he catch her in time? George jumped up and down the steps, waving a card, but a group of children was just getting off the bus. They were coming to the library for story hour. George couldn't see which way the mail carrier had gone. But oh, there was a street light nearby. George was curious. Maybe if he climbed it, he could see where the mail carrier was going. George started to climb the street light as fast as a monkey can, but when he was halfway up the pole, his bag slipped off. In an instant, all of George's cards went whirling throughout the air. Oh no! How would George deliver his cards now? George slid down the pole and grabbed the cards swirling around him. A boy looked up and said, "Hey, it's snowing mail." A little girl said, "Don't worry, little monkey. We'll help you pick up the cards." The children gathered up the cards. George was grateful for their help. He was also grateful that he had brought enough cards. He decided to give them all cards to all the children. "These cards are so nice," said the teacher. The man with the yellow hat came hurrying down the steps. "George, I didn't see you leave. It looks like you had quite the adventure out there." The man thanked the teacher and his students for all the help. "Let's finish delivering all those thank you cards," said the man. George and his friends stopped by the market and the park and then headed home. George felt a little sad he hadn't caught up the mail carrier. But wait, who was at George's home? George proudly gave her a thank you card. "Wow, George," said the mail carrier. "I'm usually the one delivering the cards. This sure is great." George waved goodbye, and he and the man in the yellow hat went to the house. But George had one very special thank you card to deliver. He had saved the best for last. So as we learned throughout the book, George just wanted to say thank you to all the people who had helped him. And you too can do that. You want to make sure throughout your day, guys, that you tell people thank you when they do nice things for you. Thanks, guys.